Exclusive contract with Feilu Novel Network novel. Tomb robbing. Starting from swallowing the Iron-Head Dragon King, Liu Yi unexpectedly traveled to the bizarre world of tomb raids. Faced with making a choice right after landing. Option 1. Become the gold-seeking captain and obtain the soul of the heavenly Kuan, which can devour designated objects and transform into one's own strength. Option 2. Become an antique dealer and gain the golden eye, which can provide insight into all details of antiques. Option 3. Become an archaeologist, gain knowledge reserves in the archaeological encyclopedia, and become an archaeologist. Since it's a tomb raiding world, do you still need to think about options? So naturally, we have to choose. Feilu Novel Network reminds you that this novel and its characters are purely fictional. If there are any similarities, they are purely coincidental and should not be imitated. Chapter 1 appears out of thin air. Choose identity. You are listening at novelfull.audio. On both sides of the Yellow River, yellow soil hills stretch one after another. Hu Bai and others had to spend a lot of money on the waterway due to the bus breaking down halfway to Gulan County. On the boat, the boatman smiled with a simple and honest farmer's expression and said, "I'm not trying to blackmail your money." In recent days, there have been consecutive heavy rains, and the Yellow River has risen sharply, causing floods. At such times, the biggest fear is to anger the river god. After listening in, the fat man sneered and said, "What era is this? Feudal superstition belongs to the tale of capitalism, and it was already cut off by the party and the people long before the four pests were eliminated." I said, "Brother, you belong to the breeding tale of capitalism. You should be released a few years earlier, but you will be sent to labor reform." The boatman, upon hearing the fat man's words, thought they were questioning what he had said, and immediately appeared very anxious. "I'm not lying to you, it's true. You don't know, earlier years, a fish bone as big as a truck's head rushed up from the river, and every time it rained, someone would always see this kind of iron-headed dragon king in the water. It's really evil." Upon hearing this, the chubby man patted his slightly plump belly and said with a fearless expression, "What iron-headed dragon king? When it comes to Fat Master, I'll make him a minced chili fish head." Hu Bai cannot accept the habit of fat people boasting. From the heroic resistance against Japan before liberation to the fierce battle in the ancient city, fat people have the ability to boast in everything. If boasting can have killing power, then the strength of the chubby guy can definitely withstand a strengthening platoon. "Okay, fat guy, just say a few more words. Old man, don't worry, that's all for my brother." Hu Bai couldn't bear to listen anymore, so he quickly interrupted him and smiled slightly. The boatman is an honest person, and even with a simple smile, he didn't say anything. The chubby guy was bragging and was suddenly cut off by Hu Bai. Although he was a bit unhappy, he didn't say anything in the end. The genius sat at the corner of the boat, clutching the ropes with both hands. The bumpy hull of the boat made him feel very uncomfortable. However, upon hearing the fat man's words, he couldn't help but joke and say, "Hey, Fat Master, don't believe it. The legend of the iron-headed dragon king dates back a long time, to the generation in Jiangsu, Zhejiang, and Shanghai. Moreover, as early as in Xining, I had personally seen a fish bone temple built with the bones of this fish. If it were a live fish, it would be at least 7 or 8 meters long. Are you sure you really have enough appetite to eat it, Fat Master?" The chubby face changed slightly. Hard-faced, he said, "Cut, if he dares to come, I dare to eat." Just as the fat man's words fell, the originally clear sky suddenly shrouded in dark clouds. The originally calm water surface also began to churn faintly. Looking at this strange weather, everyone's faces didn't look good. The boatman rushed into the cabin with a panicked expression and shouted in terror, "It's over, Grandpa River God is angry." Hu Bai felt the increasingly bumpy hull of the ship, and a faint sense of unease rose in his heart. "Fatty guy, Mr. Jean, we've all grabbed it. I feel like there's something in the water." As he spoke, His gaze was burning as he stared at the water around the ship. The swaying of the ship's body became increasingly intense, even as it tightly grasped the door of the cabin, it still caused Hu Bai's body center of gravity to sway back and forth. This shaking is like something really pressing against them under the ship. Click. In the next moment, the strong wind caused lightning and thunder. Li Chunlai was so scared that he quickly hugged the mast on the ship and almost cried. Upon seeing this, De Jinya couldn't help but curse and say, "Fat master, you've been too outspoken. Why do you say whatever you want? We can't really recite it like this, can we? Old Hu, look what's that." The fat man saw the water in front of him and suddenly a huge shadow appeared. He quickly called for Hu Bai to take a look. This shadow, at least as big as a small truck, is constantly approaching their ship. Upon seeing this, Hu Bai quickly picked up the harpoon beside him, striving to make his figure stand by the boat. Then he stared at the dark figure with a burning gaze. He's going to mind what the hell it is, and if it dares to get close, give it a harpoon first. At this very moment. Raindrops, waves on the surface of the water, huge strange fish about to break out of the water, everyone's bodies swaying in shocked expressions. At this moment, everything has come to a standstill. The next moment, a figure appeared out of thin air on the ship. Sleeping trough, what's the situation? Liu Yi was still holding a cup of milk tea in his hand. Why did he take a hard sip of the pearl? Why did he still be transported? He scanned the surroundings and could conclude that this was no longer the world he used to be in. Hu Bai. Wang Pengzi. De Jinya. Is this the world of tomb raiding? As a seasoned fan of tomb raiding novels, he is familiar with these images in front of him. If he guessed correctly, he should be in the plot of a novel called Ghost Blows the Lamp. It depends on the situation, this should be going to the Longling mysterious cave. At present, it should be the scene of Hu Bai and others fighting against the Iron-Head Dragon King. As someone who yearns for the bizarre world of tomb raids, Liu Yi appears extremely excited at this moment. The most important thing is that there are countless treasures in the world of tomb raiding. As long as you have the ability to live a superior life, you no longer need to be bullied. Ding. Host's vital breath detected. Activating the system for you. Ding. The strongest tomb digger system has been successfully activated. Considering your current situation, please make a choice immediately. Option 1. Become the gold-seeking captain and obtain the soul of the heavenly Kuan, which can devour designated objects and transform into one's own strength. Option 2. Become an antique dealer and gain the golden eye, which can provide insight into all details of antiques. Option 3. Become an archaeologist, gain knowledge reserves in the archaeological encyclopedia, and become an archaeologist. Hint. After making a choice, the scene will end in stillness. Looking at the three options in front of him, Liu Yi hardly hesitated. Since it's the world of tomb raids, I definitely want to be a tough and coaxing Jin Shaowei, so I'll choose one. As his words fell. With a flash of golden light, countless pieces of information flooded into my mind. Ding. Congratulations to the host for making the choice, the soul of Tiankuan has arrived. Ding. You have a beginner's gift package that I thought you could open. Ding. Congratulations to the host for obtaining a complete set of knowledge reserves for dragon hunting technique. Ding. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the weapon Qinghong sword. Ding. Congratulations to the host, you have obtained a space ring. Ding. Congratulations to the host, you have obtained a major repair pill. Ding. Congratulations to the host for achieving great success in the sword martial arts autumn water sword technique. You have a new devouring target. Devour the Iron-Head Dragon King, and reward the martial arts 8 extremes collapse, with a 200% increase in strength. The stillness will be unlocked in 5 seconds. Wishing the host all the best in the new world. Chapter 2. Swallowing the Iron-Head Dragon King and Rising Cultivation. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. 5 seconds is very fast. Almost before Liu Yi could react, raindrops as big as soybeans began to hit him one after another. The strong wind caused the ship to shake violently, especially at the moment and the massive figure of the iron-headed Dragon King appeared on the water surface. The waves almost overturned the ship. Liu Yi quickly grasped the iron frame at the edge of the cabin, which barely stabilized his posture. I have to touch the iron-head Dragon King with my hands to absorb it. How can I play with this? If I were to go into the water, I'm afraid I might have been fed by it before it even devours it. Liu Yi looked at the huge iron-headed Dragon King and cursed. When I saw this iron-head Dragon King on TV before, I just felt that it was very big and scary. Being in this situation now is really scary. The feeling given to Liu Yi is that this guy probably wouldn't be able to digest the iron ship, otherwise it could have swallowed it directly. Old Hu, be careful, that strange fish is here again. Wanghou grabbed onto the side of the ship tightly, barely controlling his fat body, which had nowhere to place. As he gazed into the water, a huge shadow was rapidly emerging from the bottom. He quickly shouted at Hu Bai. The sound of rain was loud, accompanied by the various tools on the boat swinging back and forth, hitting the hull of the boatman crying while holding his son, and the roaring of big golden teeth. The scene was once very chaotic. No one noticed the sudden appearance of Liu Yi. "Grandmate, come on, let's see if Mr. Hu can give you a fork." Hu Bai tightly grasped the fork in his hand, and with the other hand, he grabbed the door frame of the cabin, barely standing firm. He stared fixedly at the big fish underwater. And the heart has already risen to the throat. If this beast cannot be repelled, they are likely to become the food for this strange fish. So Hu Bai was willing to go all out at this moment. "Fatty guy, hold on to the rope and pull me up at any time. My little life is in your hands." Speaking, Hu Bai tied one end of the rope to himself, and then threw the other end to the fat man. He wants to go down and compete with the strange fish. No matter how skilled he is afraid of the kitchen knife. He doesn't believe that this strange fish is made of iron. As long as it's not made of iron, his harpoon has a certain effect. And at this moment, Liu Yi saw that the body of the Iron-Head Dragon King was closest to the water surface at this time, and it was undoubtedly the best time to take action. So without hesitation, he stabilized his body for a moment, and then the Qinghong sword appeared in his hand. "Here we go." He let out a loud roar, then rushed out and plunged into the water. Hu Bai and the chubby guy were both shocked. "Hey! Lao Hu, who is that kid? Was he on the boat just now?" The fat man looked bewildered. Hu Bai was about to dive into the water and duel with the strange fish, but at that moment he was also stunned. "No, when I got on the ship, I observed that there was definitely no such person on board," he said with great certainty. Since boarding the ship, following the principle of keeping a clear mind when people are outside, he has scrutinized everyone on board. Apart from the 4 of them, there are only boatmen and their sons. Moreover, this is a small fishing boat with a very small size and only one layer, making it impossible to hide people. So, where did the person who just jumped into the water come from? Hu Bai is also puzzled. Sleeping in a trough, is it possible to encounter a water ghost? Hee, but if you encounter a water ghost, it's good to let them fight. Let's hurry and escape. The fat man chuckled. Hu Bai gave him a serious look and said, "He just passed by me. I can be certain that he is a living person, and very young. However, if we jump down like this, we may only be able to feed that strange fish. What a pity." Hu Bai sighed slightly. At the same time, I am also somewhat puzzled, where did this person come from? Why is it so impulsive to just feed the fish in the river as soon as it appears? This is in the middle of the Yellow River, surrounded by turbulent water flow. How did he get here? But now it's not time to discuss these things. He quickly called the boatman and said, "Brother, someone is holding back that strange fish for us. If you don't sail away again, we really won't be able to escape." At the same time, in water. The rushing water made Liu Yi really uncomfortable. Fortunately, in the moment he jumped down, he stabbed the strange fish's body with his Qinghong sword. He was able to have a point of support. But now he must seize the time to devour this iron-headed dragon king, otherwise he may drown here. Feeling the suffocating sensation, he regretted it a bit. If he had known he had eaten the major overhaul given by the system as Dan, then the cultivation increase would not have been so uncomfortable against this broken fish. Swallow it for me. He placed his hand on the cold scales of the monster fish and then let out a loud roar in his heart. Then, he only felt a terrifying force of gravity burst out from his palm. Roar. The Iron-Head Dragon King seemed to feel something and let out a low roar of fear. Vigorously swinging his body, even quickly crashing towards the reef, trying to get rid of Liu Yi behind him. But Liu Yi didn't give it this opportunity at all. The soul of Tianquan is an extremely terrifying black hole, locked in by it. In just an instant, the iron-headed Dragon King like a truck was directly sucked in. Although the Iron-Head Dragon King was struggling desperately, it was of no use. Ding! Congratulations to the host for successfully devouring the Iron-Headed Dragon King and obtaining the Martial Arts 8 Extremes Collapse, which increases strength by 200%. Initial strength of 75 kilograms, increased by 225 kilograms. You have a new target to devour. The Tyrant Salamander, reward. Double finger exploration of the cave and listening to thunder to identify positions. Chapter 3. Departing and going alone to the mysterious cave. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Oh. Does the wind seem to have stopped? The fat man looked at the water with a bewildered expression on his face. The originally stormy river suddenly calmed down, and the ship no longer swayed. For a moment, the situation was calm, which left everyone in a daze. Grandpa River God has appeared. Thank you, Grandpa River God. The boatman saw this and directly pulled his son towards the river, kowtowing. The Jinya let go of the mast, looking empty, with rain and sweat all over his body. It's almost over, Mr. Hu and Mr. Pang. I'm so happy to see you both alive. This taste, the Jinya, may be unforgettable forever. In this lifetime, he may never take a boat on the Yellow River again. Hu Bai also breathed a sigh of relief. It seemed that they had regained their lives in the hands of black and white impermanence. But I don't know how the mysterious little brother who just jumped off is doing. Thinking of this, he instinctively looked towards the position where they had just been. At this moment, they did not go too far, and the ship had not even started yet. Surprisingly, the rain, waves, and wind had stopped. Fatty guy, look, is there someone somewhere? It didn't matter at first glance. Hu Bai suddenly noticed that a head had just emerged from the water surface. At this moment, the person was swimming towards them. Is it a person or a young person? Old Hu, take a rope and save someone. After a moment, Liu Yi lay on the boat, panting heavily. With great fortune, I have finally come up. At this moment, he no longer hesitated and quickly took the AI Dan out of the space ring, then stuffed it directly into his mouth. After major repairs, a warm force erupted at the entrance of Dan. Before Liu Yi could swallow it, he immediately transformed into a stream of heat flowing into his body. Then, he felt his body, which was about to collapse, suddenly filled with strength again, and his whole body became much more energetic. Ding! Congratulations to the host, your cultivation has reached the peak of body cultivation. Ding! Congratulations to the host, your cultivation has reached the peak of Mingjin. Ding! Congratulations to the host, your cultivation has reached the peak of dark energy. Ding! Congratulations to the host, your cultivation has reached the early stage of Little Celestial Master. Cultivation Realm. Refining Body, Bright Strength, Dark Strength, Little Heavenly Master, Great Heavenly Master, Grand Master. Surprisingly, it directly reached the early stage of Little Celestial Master. Feeling the surging power, Liu Yi felt great joy in his heart. Then I saw him standing up straight from the boat's planks, just like a carp. Hu Bai, the chubby guy, and Virginia were all together at the moment, curiously looking at Liu Yi. "No," I said, "brother, where the hell did you come from? Why haven't I seen you on the ship before?" Hu Bai looked at Liu Yi with a puzzled expression on his face, but still asked about his doubts in his heart. "It's impossible that it fell from the sky, right? Also, not long after this guy jumped into the water, the figure of the iron-headed Dragon King suddenly disappeared. This makes me somewhat skeptical, as it was done by the young man in his 20s before me. Although it may seem like something is off topic, it would be difficult to justify it without such an explanation." Faced with the questions raised by Hu Bai, Liu Yi has a black line on his face. The most fatal question for the traveler is, "Where did you come from? Do you believe that I fell from the sky?" So he smiled awkwardly and said, "Sorry, no comment." This made everyone even more interested. "Old Hu, this kid seems to have some background. Just now, when the carp stood up, he couldn't even use it after practicing for a few days." The fat man whispered to Hu Bai, "I estimate that this guy won't just be able to stand up to the carp. Think about it, as soon as he goes down, the Iron-Head Dragon King will disappear." Hu Bai also replied in a low voice. After hearing these words, Wang Pengzi immediately showed a shocked expression and said, "Are you saying?" "Shoo." The fat man was about to say something more when Hu Bai quickly made a silent gesture. Liu Yi stood by the boat, ignoring their whispers. Anyway, it has nothing to do with himself. What he is thinking is how to find the Fishbone Temple after arriving in Gulan County. After all, the Fishbone Temple is my entrance into the Longling mysterious cave, and my next devouring target, the Overlord Salamander, is inside the ancient tomb of the Longling mysterious cave. "You don't sound like you're a local, do you also come to do business?" Hu Bai took out a box of Panda cigarettes from his pocket and handed them over, tentatively asking. He is very curious about the person in front of him, and he thinks that using a condom may bring out something. But Liu Yi waved his hand and refused directly, "No, it's just that there are some things to handle here." After speaking, he stopped speaking and instead stared intently at the endless mounds in front of him. "Okay, it's fate to meet on the same boat. If you need it, just speak up." After speaking, Hu Bai understood that Liu Yi didn't want to say anything more to them, so he retreated. The fat man looked a bit angry and said, "Old Hu, is this kid too crazy?" Seeing what else the chubby guy wanted to say, Virginia quickly grabbed him and whispered, "Fatty Lord, this is what you don't know. The more advanced this person is, the less willing he is to communicate with others. Don't you think that's what's written in those novels? Oh, don't make any fuss. I didn't see it. Mr. Hu is intentionally making friends." The fat man pursed his lips and didn't speak again. Liu Yi naturally knew that Hu Bai was trying to get closer to him. But he doesn't want to. Speaking of which, at this time he is considered a competitor to Hu Bai and others. Their next goal will be the Western Zhou ghost tomb inside the Longling mysterious cave. In theory, working with them is also quite good. But Liu Yi doesn't want to. "I need to have the ability to find the ancient tomb myself, so there is no need to share the spoils with them. What's wrong with you being the main characters? Why do we have to find ourselves unhappy and separate ourselves from a few people when something that one person can completely handle? As for whether we will come together in the future, that is a matter of the future." But in front of him, Liu Yi is determined to eat in the Longling mysterious cave. Add more rules. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After reading many tomb raiding novels, as a tomb raiding fan, I finally made a very great decision today. That is, I also followed suit in writing a fan novel about tomb raiding. I don't know if the new work suits everyone's taste, but I'm going to go all out and publish it now. For dreams. If you like it, just support it. If someone is looking, make a sound in the comments section. The new book sets sail, with a minimum of 10,000 words per day. 500 fresh flowers and 1 watch, 200 evaluation votes plus 1 change, 30 comments plus 1 update, 1 reward and 1 watch. Please, readers, let's cheer together. Chapter 4. Enter the ancient tomb and destroy the spider cave. Seeking. You are listening at novelfull.audio. In Gulan County, Liu Yi did not hesitate and chose to part ways with the iron triangle of this drama. The reason is very simple. He has enough ability to swallow the things inside the tomb alone. This is an opportunity to establish himself in this world economic system, so he doesn't intend to share it with anyone. This guy is really proud, he always ignores when talking to him. Watching Liu Yi leave, Wang Pengzi spoke disdainfully. Hu Bai patted his shoulder and smiled, forget it, maybe he really has the ability to be with us ordinary people. Don't forget what our purpose is for coming here this time. Right, brother Chunlai. I see I'm waiting for you in this guest house. Hurry up and bring all your treasures over. Let's make a quick decision, and you can also get the money to become a good wife as soon as possible, right? Upon hearing Hu Bai's words, the chubby man suddenly felt like he had an epiphany, hugging Li Chunlai's shoulder and looking like a treacherous businessman. Hu Bai looked at it and could only shake his head helplessly, silently walking towards the guest house. At this moment, he inserted his hand into his pocket and felt as if there was something extra inside. So he quickly took out the extra things. It was a small note with neat handwriting that read, "Be careful of Li Chun." Be careful, Li Chunlai. This made Hu Bai couldn't help but take another look at Li Chunlai. I saw him with a simple and honest face chatting and laughing with the fat guy at this moment, giving the impression that he is innocent and easy to deceive, and has no killing power. At most, this person is a bit cautious. Why be careful of him? And who stuffed this note for themselves? Is it him? Hu Bai looked towards the direction where Liu Yi was leaving, and by now he could no longer see the other person's trace, and no one knew where he had gone. What's wrong, Tiger Lord? Are you still thinking about which expert? De Jinya followed behind and couldn't help but laugh when he saw Hu Bai, who was lost in thought. Hu Bai finally regained his senses and grinned at De Jinya. Then he kneaded the paper ball and casually stuffed it back into his pocket. Entered the guest house with a nonchalant appearance. But in my heart, I was muttering. What did that young man discover? But he couldn't figure out what Li Chunlai had to guard against. At the same time, Liu Yi was not idle either, and rushed to Longling without stopping. He stood in front of the gate of the Fishbone Temple, gazing into the distance. Like this kind of lust mound, at a glance, it twists and turns like a crawling giant dragon, which is very spectacular. At this moment, just in the evening, the fiery red sun rendered the sky and even the ground a golden hue, appearing somewhat dreamy. Finally found it, it seems that this temple is the right one. Although it's already a bit late, it doesn't stop Liu Yi from going to the grave. He seemed to have seen the treasure inside the tomb waving to him. The Fishbone Temple has been in disrepair for some years now. According to the original work, this was built by the Tu Fu Zi Do to provide cover. Unfortunately, the local master did not succeed, and even his life remained in the tomb passage as a result. The thief hole should be here. Behind the dilapidated Buddha statue, Liu Yi cleaned up all the withered and yellow weeds, and then saw a cave opening that could only accommodate one person to pass through. He didn't hesitate and jumped straight into the cave entrance. Through this opening, there is no direct entry into the tomb passage. But first arrived inside a natural cave. The endless darkness almost rendered his vision useless here, but fortunately, as his strength entered the realm of the little celestial master, his perceptual ability also greatly improved. In the darkness, he groped his way forward. Another thief hole leading to the tomb, if his memory of the plot is accurate. He still needs to pass through the narrow tunnel before reaching the other side of the cave. So many bats. Let's go over there first before we talk. Feeling the subtle cries constantly coming from above, Liu Yi judged that there should be a large group of bats right above him. He doesn't want to wake up these guys. Although he has the ability to deal with these things, he still tries to minimize unnecessary consumption. After all, there is still a huge giant salamander waiting for him to deal with inside this tomb. In the open underground cave, strange sounds can be heard from time to time. This feeling is very bad, it always gives people a feeling that something is following them behind. Fortunately, this did not affect him in any way. I saw that his footsteps were very steady, walking step by step towards the depths. No, you must prepare a flashlight before the next fight. It's really inconvenient to move without a flashlight. How ironic it is that tomb raiders have not prepared lighting tools for their graves. Liu Yi thought that he had reached the realm of the little celestial master and was already invincible in the tomb. But he forgot that his eyes were always his eyes. No matter how strong his strength was, his eyes could not become Sun Wukong's fiery and golden eyes. Perception ability is useful. But it wasn't in Turin at any time, just like now. He walked left and turned again, unknowingly breaking into the lair of the human-faced magic spider. Thank you for your inquiry. At this moment, he could feel that there were countless giant spiders surrounding him. The dense footsteps only make one feel scalp tingling. Damn it, it seems like a tough battle. With this thought in mind, the Qinghong sword had already appeared in his hand. Close your eyes and fully utilize your other senses. The situation around him had already appeared invisibly in his mind. Hiss, one by one, tall and huge, he let out a deep roar and rushed towards Liu Yi. Other people's face magic spiders also rushed forward. Chapter 5. Burning the spider's nest and entering the Graveway, seeking. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Liu Yi's gaze was solemn. Faced with the oncoming human-faced magic spider, he naturally dared not neglect it. The 8 extremes collapse. With a loud shout and a punch, the powerful force directly pierced through the front paw that the human-faced magic spider was about to stab. A punch hit its face-like head. Just listen to a bang. The body of the human-faced magic spider turned into a shell and flew backwards, knocking away several human-faced magic spiders that were about to pounce. Hiss, a magic spider was knocked away, and soon more magic spiders rushed forward. Liu Yi turned around, slashed horizontally, and completed it in one go. The head of the human-faced magic spider that was about to sneak attack from behind was cut off in a large section, and its massive body instantly lost its vitality, falling heavily to the ground. Faced with the corpses of 2 magic spiders, other magic spiders rushed forward, and suddenly a foul smell filled the air. Liu Yi understood that this was a magic spider gnawing on the corpse of its companion. No way, there are too many magic spiders, killing them one by one is simply not enough. He turned around and wanted to quietly exit the spider's nest, but at some point, these magic spiders had already firmly blocked the entrance with spider silk. Looking at the cave covered in spider webs, Liu Yi felt a headache. When they devour the corpses of their companions clean, the target will naturally shift back to themselves. We must leave here quickly. Liu Yi looked at the spider silk in front of him and a plan came to his mind. I have it. Thinking of this, he quickly walked up to the soil wall and found a hard rock on top of it. These spider silk are not only extremely capricious, but also very high-quality fuel. He is planning to build a fire here, which will not only eliminate these animals but also illuminate the cave, making it easier for him to find the entrance to the tomb passage. Do as you please. I saw him tightly grasp the Qinghong sword in his hand, and then use the tip of the knife to fiercely scratch the surface of the hard rock. Instantly, sparks splattered everywhere. After 2 consecutive strokes, the spider silk next to it suddenly began to burn. It has to be said that the burning speed of spider silk is really fast. The fire spread instantly. The spider silk blocking the entrance was also burned to the brim. Liu Yi took the opportunity to sneak out. The human-faced magic spider inside felt the fierce fire and immediately made a mess. Make a flustered and hurried hiss sound. Liu Yi didn't hesitate when he saw the situation. With the help of the firelight, he quickly found another thief's hole leading to the tomb and without hesitation, crawled in. At the same time, Hu Bai and Wang Fatty just finished counting and hanging from the blind. Hu Bai's expression was solemn all the way. The fat man couldn't help but laugh and said, "Ah, when I say Lao Hu, you won't really believe what that old fortune teller said, will you? It's obvious that I'm just pretending to be a ghost. If this works, when I return to Pan's home, I'll wear big sunglasses and set up a street corner stall to do divination and collect money." Hu Bai frowned. This afternoon, the young man who appeared on the ship out of thin air gave him a note to be careful of Li Chunlai. Then do divination at night, even if there is a major crisis. Is there really such a coincidence? At this moment, he felt inexplicably heavy in his heart, always feeling that something was about to happen, and it was also a bad thing. After thinking for a long time, he still made a decision and said, "Fatty, pack your things. We'll leave here tonight." For some reason, he also began to feel that Li Chunlai was not playing well. Imagine if he really had a box of such treasures, would he only carry a broken shoe and run all the way to Panjiayuan in Beiping? This does not conform to the logic of a normal person. Beiping Panjiayuan is not the temple fair in Gulan County. If it's close, you can explore the less valuable area first. That's Beiping, it's a 2-day and 1-night walk from here. Such a long distance, if it were him, he would definitely choose a few of the most valuable ones to go. Having figured this out, he was even more certain of his thoughts. Li Chunlai is definitely a ghost, it's just that everyone was deceived by his honest appearance before. The fat man's face was shrouded in circles. What's the situation? Are you leaving without receiving the item? Isn't it in vain for them to make such a trip? No, Lao Hu, what exactly happened? Even if I leave, at least you have to give me a reason. He quickly chased after him as he spoke. At this moment, Hu Bai had already walked into the room they rented, and Dajinya was lying on the bed with a weak expression on his face. Hu Bai looked serious and said, "Master Jin, stop lying down and get up and pack up quickly. Get out of here." Upon hearing this, Dajinya also looked bewildered. "Why, Mr. Hu? We're not here to collect the goods. What's wrong and we need to run away all night?" Dajinya was speaking when the fat man pushed open the door and walked in directly. Hu Bai was quickly packing his luggage. Seeing that both of them had arrived, he expressed his speculation in his heart. Then he said, "Most likely we have been tricked. Let's leave quickly while they haven't reacted yet, otherwise by tomorrow, we will really be empty-handed." But the fat man appeared very unwilling. "They are here to receive the goods this time, but they haven't received them yet. People have to run away overnight, how can he bear it?" I saw him anxiously say, "Li Chun doesn't seem like someone who can play any tricks. How about Lao Hu, are you considering it? If we just leave like this, we'll really lose all our underwear. Mr. Jin, hurry up and persuade old Hu." Dajinya smiled slightly and then said, "Fat master, Hu Yi is right. Let's leave in time. If it's too late, we may not be able to fully recover." Chapter 6. Sword slashes the white stubborn and breaks the ghost tomb, seeking flowers. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Hu Bai and Dajinya reached a consensus and prepared to leave here overnight. Although the chubby guy is very unwilling, there is no way, who makes the three of them together. Stepping out of the guest house, the three of them headed north together. Wang Pengzi is still a bit unwilling. He gave up on the business he was about to get because of that blind old man's words. The more he thought about it, the more he lost. He blocked the two of them and said, "Old Hu, why don't you think about it again? Even if that Li Chunlai has a problem, can we go and take a walk with other villagers? I just left like this, and the more I thought about it, the more I lost. When we fought against the Japanese back then, what danger did we not see? When I was in Gonping, I was once robbed of my butt by a little Japanese. I was not even afraid of being fat, but when Li Chun came, he scared us. No, I feel suffocated." The fat man thought of this and decided to squat on the roadside instead of leaving. Anyway, after walking so far this time, it's impossible to come back empty-handed. Hu Bai and Virginia exchanged a glance and both smiled helplessly. "Fatty Lord, if you want to collect things, when you return to Panjiayuan, I will take you to collect them. In this industry, I have a clear door." As Hu Yi said, leaving the Green Mountains without worrying about firewood, the most important thing in our business is to be cautious. After all, this is not our territory. As the old saying goes, strong dragons don't overpower local snakes. Fat Master, just hold back and leave quickly. Virginia urged the fat man to leave while speaking. Hu Bai smiled silently on the side. He knows the temperament of a fat man the best, with a single muscle and a stubborn temper like a donkey. "Hello, think it over. Let's go back earlier and prepare earlier. Let's have another fight. Isn't this fight faster than collecting things for money? I'll go and make it convenient for you. Think about it." After speaking, Hu Bai turned directly into an alley. As soon as he took off his pants, he heard a group of noisy people coming from afar. This made him quickly hold his breath and listen carefully. "Granny Tay, if you show someone and still lose them, if those three of you let them run away, then you can have an operation. Bold brother, I didn't know they discovered our plan so quickly. I thought it was okay, so I took a nap. Shut up, if you don't hurry up and chase me, they won't be able to run far in just this short amount of time." Upon hearing this, Hu Bai was also surprised. He didn't expect the person to catch up so quickly, and he didn't care about urinating. He quickly picked up his pants and ran back. "Grandma Tay, it seems that Li Chunlai really has some tricks. Sometimes an honest person may not be as trustworthy." Thinking of this, he quickly urged the two people, "Hurry up, the pursuers are coming. So fast." Virginia's face slightly changed and he exclaimed in surprise. But the chubby man didn't take it seriously, thinking that Hu Bai was fooling him again, so he straightened his waist and smiled, "You're here. You're here, just right. Let them taste my skills, Fat Master." Just as he finished speaking, 20 or 30 heads suddenly rushed out of the alley not far ahead. Seeing the three people, they immediately rushed forward with great momentum. "Found them, catch them, don't let them run away." The fat guy was completely confused. "I grass, so many people, Lao Hu." He was about to say something when he saw Hu Bai and Fat Man running out for a long time. This made him shout loudly, "Old Hu, you're not authentic," so you quickly followed suit. The three of them ran wildly all the way, and the direction they were fleeing was exactly the direction where Longling was located. At the same time, Liu Yi has already entered the main tomb chamber through the thief hole. However, here, both the patterns carved on the floor tiles and walls have a distinct style from the Western Zhou dynasty. According to the original description, this is actually a Tang tomb. But before the Tang tomb, there was a Western Zhou tomb, but for various reasons, the Western Zhou tomb was not completed. In the end, it was abandoned, and the Tang tomb was built on top of this abandoned Western Zhou tomb. So, at a certain time, the Western Zhou tomb will reappear, thus covering up the original structure of the Tang tomb. This is also the formation of the ghost tomb. The entrance should be here. Liu Yi stood in front of a coffin, which was a human-shaped coffin standing upright. From a distance, if not carefully examined, it feels like someone is standing here. In the original work, Hu Bai and others treated the standing human-shaped coffin as a living person when they first came here. The entrance to the hanging soul ladder is pressed under the coffin, and once you pass through the hanging soul ladder, you will naturally enter the Tang tomb. And the things I am looking for, as well as the treasure, are all in the Tang tomb. At this thought, he no longer hesitated and forcefully pushed the humanoid sarcophagus. Boom boom. With a strange noise, the stone coffin began to be pushed open. I don't know if it's due to Liu Yi's excessive strength or something. Surprisingly, cracks still appeared on the stone coffin. Upon receipt and request, then, a faint and strange sound suddenly came from within the sarcophagus. The sound was not loud, but in this incredibly quiet tomb chamber, one could hear very carefully. And the movement is getting bigger and bigger, even with gravel falling from the cracks in the sarcophagus. This surprised Liu Yi and he quickly stepped back. The next moment, the sarcophagus exploded completely. The monster, which had been covered in white hair all along, rushed out directly from it. Sleeping in the trough. White stiff. Liu Yi exclaimed in surprise and quickly blocked himself with his Qinghong sword. Bang! White stiff claws grabbed onto the Qinghong sword, making a piercing sound of metal collision. Chapter 7. Swallowing the Overlord Salamander and boosting its strength. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. White zombies have the weakest strength among all zombies. However, the combat effectiveness still exceeds that of ordinary personnel by multiple times. And it is painless and numb, with a body as solid as a rock. Even ordinary people can only escape if they encounter it. However, Liu Yi is different. I saw him face by Jian without any fear, but with a cold smile, he said, "Humph, you've lived long enough. Let me help you free yourself." When it comes to timing, it's fast. Under the autumn water sword technique, Liu Yi's sword is incredibly sharp. I saw him push hard, first pushing his stiff body back. Then the sword flashed a cold light in his hand. His figure appeared ghostly behind Bainuan. Collect the sword. The white stiff body directly blocked the waist and turned into two sections, completely losing its vitality. Fortunately, it's just a white zombie. If I encounter a blood corpse, I don't know how much chance I have of winning. Liu Yi glanced at the corpse behind him and gave a satisfied smile. My current strength is probably only strong, even if I encounter Zhang Qiling from another drama. After some hesitation, he followed the entrance and entered another space. Here, there is a staircase descending, and the darkness blocks the view, making it impossible to see the end of the staircase. There was silence all around. And Liu Yi knows. This staircase has no end at all. No matter how you go down, you will eventually come back here again, which is the terror of the hanging soul ladder. It is similar to the folk legend of ghosts hitting walls, trapping people to death in one place. If you can't find the right way to crack it, the result is that you won't be able to go down this staircase for a lifetime. Fortunately, I have read the answer in advance. If I don't know the mystery of the hanging soul ladder, it will probably take a long time to waste. Liu Yi's gaze was solemn and he sighed slightly. Then, he didn't choose to keep walking down the stairs, but jumped down directly from the edge of the stairs. The most effective way to escape from the hanging soul ladder is to directly detach from the ladder itself. Bang! With a dull landing sound, Liu Yi landed safely. Now with his strength, this height of over 10 meters will not cause him any damage. I found it, it's here. At this moment, in front of Liu Yi, a stolen hole covered with wooden boards suddenly appeared. This delighted him. Passing through this thief hole, one can enter the Tang tomb completely. His first target, the tyrant Salamander, is right in front of him in the first tomb chamber. It's better to say it's a tomb than an artificial karst cave. When you come out of the stolen cave, a pond directly catches your eye. The interconnected structures of several chambers in Tang tombs. The first two chambers are both mechanisms, and only the third chamber hidden in the innermost part is the true main chamber. Following the description in the drama, it is Li Chunfeng, a very famous Taoist from the Tang dynasty, who is buried inside. Legend has it that he is also the closest existence to immortals, knowing everything about astronomy and geography. Highly valued by Emperor Li Shimin at that time. However, unfortunately, Xiao He was also defeated, and Li Chunfeng was highly valued by Li Shimin, which also brought him many suspicions. It was just that he knew too many royal secrets and was ultimately secretly executed by Li Shimin. The Overlord Salamander should be in this pond, we need to lure him out first. Thinking of this, he glanced at a huge rock beside him and without hesitation kicked it into the pond. Puff! The water surface was instantly stirred up by rocks, creating a layer of waves. Roar! Then, a strange cry suddenly emerged from the bottom of the water, and bubbles kept rising on the surface of the water. Gudu gudu! Liu Yi's gaze was fixed on the water, and the Qinghong sword was tightly held in his hand. Here we go. Respond. I saw a smooth head suddenly emerge from the water, with a pair of cold eyes fixed on Liu Yi. Then all the huge bodies, resembling lizards, were revealed. The size of this tyrannical salamander doesn't need to be smaller than that of the iron-headed Dragon King at all. Smooth all over, as if covered in pitch-black armor. Roar! It let out a roar and rushed towards Liu Yi. Its massive body was like a rushing tank. It was evident that this guy was very hungry and had already regarded Liu Yi as food. Liu Yi also dared not slack off. Faced with the rushing King Salamander, he quickly jumped and then rolled on the spot, rushing out of the attack range. The salamander's head collided directly with the rock wall, causing the entire cave to tremble. Good guy, if this is bumped into, it will just turn into meat paste. Looking at the deep pit created by the tyrannical salamander on the stone wall, Liu Yi felt lingering fear and said, "Beasts are truly beasts, and power is truly terrifying. However, let's call it a day." As he spoke, he saw Liu Yi gripping the Qinghong sword tightly with one hand and grabbing it towards the Overlord Salamander with the other. As long as his hand touches this guy's body, the battle can basically be declared over. Roar! Upon seeing this, the Overlord Salamander let out a roar and extended its huge paw to slap Liu Yi as he approached. Go! Upon seeing this, Liu Yi released the Qinghong sword and plunged it into the foot lifted by the Overlord Salamander. The sharp pain instinctively lifted the giant palm that was about to fall. Seizing this opportunity, Liu Yi's figure burst out, and as soon as his palm touched the opponent's cold skin, he shouted loudly, "Swallow." Suddenly, the power of the heavenly Kun soul erupted, and the terrifying suction formed a vortex in his palm. The truck-like giant salamander was unsurprisingly sucked back in. Ding! Congratulations to the host for successfully devouring the Overlord Salamander. The reward is currently being released. Ding! Congratulations to the host for obtaining the ability of double finger exploration of acupoints. Ding! Congratulations to the host for obtaining the ability to listen to thunder and debate. Ding! You have a new devouring task, devouring the target. Huisher Undead Worm, rewarding night vision eye, and increasing speed. Handsome guys and pretty girls must see. You are listening at novelfull.audio. On the first day of publishing the book I have written almost 20 million words. But the data is terrible. Is it really that I wrote too poorly? Am I really not worthy of having readers? So sad. So sad. Forgive me for posting a chapter on spicy chicken. I don't want to either, I just want to save it. The author is a newcomer and urgently needs some confidence from the readers. Reward the evaluation ticket of flowers, urge the monthly ticket to complain quickly. Let's witness the growth of this book together, okay? After watching many Tomb Raiders, I feel that the routine is almost the same, even repeating the same routine. That's why the author wrote this fan book, hoping to bring everyone a different reading experience. If you like it, just support it. If someone is looking, make a sound in the comments section. The new book sets sail, with a minimum of 10,000 words per day. 500 fresh flowers and 1 watch, 200 evaluation votes plus 1 change, 30 comments plus 1 update, 1 reward and 1 watch. Please, readers, let's cheer together. Emphasis here. Flowers over 100,000, send photos of my sister Lolita. Review votes over 10,000, send photos of my sister's bikini. Subscribe over 1,000, give my sister a free gift. It's been a day since I posted the book. I have written almost 20,000 words. But the data is terrible. Is it really that I wrote too poorly? Am I really not worthy of having readers? So sad. So sad. Forgive me for posting a chapter on spicy chicken. I don't want to either, I just want to save it. The author is a newcomer and urgently needs some confidence from the readers. Reward the evaluation ticket of flowers, urge the monthly ticket to complain quickly. Let's witness the growth of this book together, okay? After watching many Tomb Raiders, I feel that the routine is almost the same, even repeating the same routine. That's why the author wrote this fan book, hoping to bring everyone a different reading experience. If you like it, just support it. If someone is looking, make a sound in the comments section. The new book sets sail, with a minimum of 10,000 words per day. 500 fresh flowers and 1 watch, 200 evaluation votes plus 1 change, 30 comments plus 1 update, 1 reward and 1 watch. Please, readers, let's cheer together. Emphasis here. Flowers over 100,000, send photos of my sister Lolita. Review votes over 10,000, send photos of my sister's bikini. Subscribe over 1,000, give my sister a free gift. It's been a day since I posted the book. I have written almost 20,000 words. But the data is terrible. Is it really that I wrote too poorly? Am I really not worthy of having readers? So sad. So sad. Forgive me for posting a chapter on spicy chicken. I don't want to either, I just want to save it. The author is a newcomer and urgently needs some confidence from the readers. Reward the evaluation ticket of flowers, urge the monthly ticket to complain quickly. Let's witness the growth of this book together, okay? After watching many Tomb Raiders, I feel that the routine is almost the same, even repeating the same routine. That's why the author wrote this fan book, hoping to bring everyone a different reading experience. If you like it, just support it. If someone is looking, make a sound in the comments section. The new book sets sail, with a minimum of 10,000 words per day. 500 fresh flowers and 1 watch, 200 evaluation votes plus 1 change, 30 comments plus 1 update, 1 reward and 1 watch. Please, readers, let's cheer together. Emphasis here. Flowers over 100,000, send photos of my sister Lolita. Review votes over 10,000, send photos of my sister's bikini. Subscribe over 1,000, give my sister a free gift. Say important things 3 times. Say it 3 times. Free. Over and over again. Chapter 8. Longling Mysterious Cave, Tomb of Wanghou, Seeking Flowers. You are listening at novelfull.audio. At the same time, Hu Bai and others rushed all the way, finally using the complex terrain of Longling to shake off the pursuit of Ma Bolan and others. De Jinyat collapsed on the ground, panting heavily. Fat Master, you guys go, I really can't run anymore. Hu Ba saw that the pursuers were not catching up, and he saw that De Jinyat couldn't move anymore. So he stopped the fat man and said, "All right, the road conditions here are quite complicated. There are 7 or 8 small paths, just the one we came from. They can't find us for a while, let's take a break first." As he spoke, he directly found a higher mound to sit on, panting heavily. Fatty people are true. I never expected that the honestly Chunlai would really calculate against them. He also lay flat beside Hu Bai, feeling a little helpless, and said, "Old Hu, it seems better to listen to you for anything in the future, but I can't figure it out. Why have honest people become bad now? When we were educated youth in northern Shaanxi, how simple the folk customs were." Hu Bai didn't respond. At this moment, he was still thinking about the note. Is all of this just a coincidence, or did the little brother see something when he was on the ship? But what exactly did you see? He has observed Li Chunlai more than once and hasn't noticed anything unusual, has he? There is only one explanation available now. That's because that little brother is a master, and he has already calculated all of this, which is why he was reminded. No way, such an expert, we must find a way to meet him again. Hu Bai muttered to himself while thinking. After resting for a while, he got up and looked around. It was already deep in the Dragon Ridge, surrounded by endless mounds of soil. The night was already deep, and the sounds of various animals kept coming and going. What is this? Suddenly, Hu Bai was taken aback. There was a temple towering above the spot where he had just rested. He quickly called out to Fatty in big golden teeth and said, "Fatty, Jin Yi, what do you think that is?" Both of them looked towards the direction pointed by Hu Bai at the same time. "Isn't it just a dilapidated temple? What's so strange about it?" The fat man said, somewhat puzzled. "Have you forgotten the legend of the fish-bone temple that the boatman told us when he was on the boat during the day? This is what makes a fishbone temple." At first, Hu Bai was very puzzled as to why someone would build a temple in such a place. From the perspective of feng shui, the general selection of temple sites emphasizes areas with abundant sunlight, spiritual energy, and dense vegetation. And here, it is desolate, and the temple being built here not only fails to ensure safety, but also brings disasters. So he quickly had a guess. The wealthy businessman who paid to repair the fish-bone temple is simply a gold digger. Building a temple is fake, gold diggers are real, and the fish-bone temple is only used to attract people's attention. But whether my guess is accurate or not, I still need to go up and see in person. So he said to Big Golden Teeth and Fat Man, Jin Yi, come with me. I estimate that we will have a good luck this time. As soon as they heard about their luck, the two of them immediately became interested. The fat man was particularly excited and said, "Great fortune." "What great fortune? Is it difficult? Is there any treasure here?" Hu Bai smiled mysteriously and said, "We can't say it yet. Let's go up and take a look before I can draw a conclusion." "What are you waiting for? Hurry up." Watching the chubby monkey's anxious expression, Hu Bai couldn't help but smile. "Hu Yi, Fat Yi, you two can just go up there. I really can't climb anymore." "You two can spare me," said Dejinya with a weak expression on his face. "All right, then you can rest here and we'll come over as soon as we go." After Hu Bai finished speaking, he climbed up the mound with the fat man by taking a small path. Standing high, even at night, with the help of the Moonlight Mountain Range, one can have a panoramic view. The mounds of Longling are one after another, winding and continuous, like a giant dragon crawling on the ground. The dragon hunting technique goes like this. If you search for 100,000 dragons, look at the winding mountain. Each winding is a heavy barrier. If there is 1,000 locks when closing the door, there must be a royal and noble residence here. This is indeed a rare dragon vein that has been seen for 100 years, but it lacks water and is a dead dragon. The dragon vein is a land of good news, while the dead dragon vein is a place of great calamity. If there is a royal tomb here, then there is only one reason, which is that it was originally a river, but later it was dried up. Fatty guy, it seems that God is treating us well. He lost his business and gave us a big tomb. If he did this, he would definitely make more money than receiving the goods. Then, he told the fat man his thoughts one by one. The fat man was overjoyed upon hearing this. What is this called? It's a blessing in disguise. Since it's the tomb of a prince, there must be many good things inside, right? Looking at the chubby man with a face full of financial obsession, Hu Bai felt a bit helpless. What he could get by touching gold was all thanks to luck, and the former had already touched this tomb once. No one knew if there were any good things left. And just as he was about to explain to the chubby guy, a scream from Big Golden Fong suddenly came from below. Fat Master, Hu Master, help me. Upon hearing this, both of their faces changed drastically, and they thought to themselves that Virginia might have encountered some danger, right? So the two of them jogged down the road. As soon as they took a closer look below, the two of them suddenly broke out in a cold sweat. At this moment, Virginia's body had already sunk into half of the soil shell, and the quicksand-like soil was still sinking continuously. At this moment, Virginia's heart was so scared that it was stuck in his throat. Hu Bai saw this and was about to go up when he heard the fat man scream again. I saw that his body had also sunk in. Old Hu, help me quickly. Hu Bai hesitated for a moment, with big golden teeth on one side and fat man on the other. And in that moment, Virginia's body suddenly slipped and completely sank. Jin Yi. He shouted loudly, trying to grab Virginia's hand, but unfortunately it was still one step too late. At this moment, he heard another scream and turned around to see that the chubby man had disappeared without a trace. This made him cry inwardly that it was not good. Bringing out two brothers to collect the goods, they confiscated them, but as a result, the two brothers were trapped inside a dirt shell. What kind of thing is this? He looked at the pit in front of him, pinched his nose, and his heart jumped straight down. Based on the speed at which the soil shell descends, it is likely that there is a unique hole below. If not, both brothers have explained that Hu Bai is too embarrassed to live alone here. So he decided to take a gamble and bet that there was another hole below.